Y'all know I am a fiend for idea sex. And sometimes, honestly, it's better when people don't necessarily agree with you, when they're a little bit rough. You know what I'm saying? That's when the act of idea sex becomes interesting. And let me tell you, I really pissed some people off with that video that I made about actualized.org, and I found it so stimulating.
Eventually.
Y'all already know how I feel about it.
Somebody once told me
And so let me tell you, darling, I was not in the least surprised by the nature of some of the people who came to his defense on that video. Because keep in mind, this is a man, Leo Gura is a man who has literally prefaced some of his videos with warnings that the ideas he is sharing may cause you to want to kill yourself. And so I find it very amusing that people were like, Kiara, obviously you don't understand his messaging because you don't agree with him. Like, maybe you don't understand his messaging, because how does anyone hear that and think, like, this must be a good idea? Like, someone tells you, I'm going to share ideas in this video, ideas and beliefs that may make you want to kill yourself. And the response to that is, behold, Saint Leo. And so I really triggered some people by pointing out some things that I thought were, like, frankly obvious. And it's not like I was even trying to be mean. I was being skeptical. I was being critical. But it's different than trying to be mean. If I were trying to be mean, I would have said that your lord and liege looks like Aunt LaVey humped a fruit bat. But I didn't say that, did I? No, I didn't say that. Therefore, I'm not mean. I am the nicest bitch you've never met. So today I thought it would be fun to go through some of my favorite comments on this video, because I'm feeling extra saucy. Slather me in Szechuan saucy. Happens about once a month, if you know what I'm saying. And in this video, I just want to share some of the amusing tidbits. But in the future, like, we have to have some talks about things like solipsism and the spiritual ego and chasing ego death, because, you know, a number of these comments are indicative of a fundamental ideological disagreement, which is actually, like, I was happy to see that, because that was kind of the point of the video, was to take a well-known person's messaging and use it as a launching pad to call into question some commonly held ideas about enlightenment, this shiny thing called enlightenment, namely that you should chase ego death as a way to achieve your maximum human potential. And people cling very fiercely to these ideas, judging by the clutching of their pearls. But I think most people made it like maybe 5 minutes into the video and decided, you know, they understood what the point was, that it was just bagging on another internet stranger. And, you know, the apparent subject in that video, in combination with the clickbait title, it was meant to be a launching pad into, or a segue, if you will, into a larger conversation about all of the questions that we tend to wrangle with, struggle with, suffer with on the spiritual journey. That was lost on a number of people, and so today I don't even feel like touching the big questions. I feel like talking about the petty, because you love it. I've seen the analytics. Oh, I get it, Kiara. So you are A, chasing views, B, chasing clout, or C, you've run out of content ideas. Well. Secret option number D. All of the above. Is D a number? Yes, there were a handful of comments like this. Can't come up with your own content, so you tear down someone else's work. So first of all, I think tearing down someone's work is a lot different than disagreeing with it or critiquing it. Like, God forbid we have a disagreement, right? The year is 2022, and you cannot disagree with anyone without them labeling you as far right and trying to cancel you. And here's my response. I publish 2 videos a week, and the ones I'm actually proud of are actually quite research intensive. The point of this channel is to generate discussion around the intersection between spirituality and science, between the mystical experience and its everyday application, which is why, at least currently, a lot of the content on this channel is about making formal sci research more accessible. Because space is not the final frontier. Everyone thinks it is, which is why our billionaires are flying their space chodes around the Earth, but space is not the final frontier. Consciousness is. Quote me. And we are living through the single biggest shift in human consciousness. And this has been prophesized on either side of the Atlantic, which is something we've talked about in other videos. And it's why the past 2 years have been so crazy. And we're just getting started. Like, buckle the fuck up, Ghost Rider, because we are gunning straight through Crazy Town. And if we get out of this alive, it's gonna be a whole new world. Most people right now are still asleep to all of the things that people like you and I know are true and real. That we are one consciousness manifesting as infinite possibilities, that we are not these separate egos driving around meat suits for 80 years, but we are all part of a vast field of consciousness, this big, awe-inspiring universe thing that's just dancing through itself. Like, you and I get it. Most people don't. Most people are still asleep to the fact that things like precognition, mind-matter interaction, the law of attraction, and synchronicity actually exist. They think it's make-believe, which is why their lives suck. So let's play this scenario out, okay? At some point, people are gonna wake up. There is going to come a point where we reach critical mass and people realize that pretty much everything we've been told is a lie and that we are living in an inverted reality. At that point, it's gonna be up to people like you and me who kind of sort of have this shit figured out to be a bridge for our neighbors. Because I can tell you, after my awakening, I spent 2 years in and out of hospitals trying to figure out what the was wrong with me.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
And that's why I make these videos. These videos are what I needed and they didn't exist, so now I'm making them. So now, I've got plenty of content ideas. There just aren't enough hours in a day or days in a lifetime, but honestly, when people make snide comments like that, like I can't even hear you. You're all the way up there in the nosebleeds. Come down here and get your ass kicked with me in the arena. Then we can talk. Because I highly doubt, if you were the kind of person who has enough time to click on a video that you know you're not gonna like, like you know you're not gonna like it, and you click on it and you leave a comment on it, which helps the algorithm, by the way, thank you. You take the time to watch it and leave a comment on it knowing that you're not enjoying that and it's not doing anything for you. You're probably not in the arena. But tell you what, when you're juggling a full-time job at a venture studio that's trying to build 100 companies in 5 years, training 6 times a week, training tactical shooting once a week, reading 3 books a month, having a social life, and still finding 15 hours to make semi-original content every single week, then we can talk.
Meanwhile,
Thank you! Next! What else is on here? I feel like bringing out the timer! I just came here to watch ourselves talk bad about ourselves. See, that is a quality comment. I would like to think, Mr. Toby, that that's the comment I would have left on this video if it wasn't my video. Like 11 out of 10, excellent comments. Actually, no, it's like 80% agreement and or interested in having an actual conversation, which I appreciate. I have a lot of respect for people who can have a relatively civil dialogue when they don't agree with someone. Like, you people, you are a rarity. I would have idea sex with you all night long, and you don't even have to like me. There was one dude, I wish I could find this comment. He must have deleted it. There was one dude who left a comment that said, "You're basically basic being basic." And I was like, I am so obviously flawed and fallible. Like, there's so much you could have made fun of, but instead you went for the most inaccurate thing you could think of, like basic. If I were a coding language, I wouldn't be basic, I'd be malbolge, because I'm weird and erratic and complicated and irrelevant. Like, sir, your insults are basic. You hit like a basic bitch. If you're gonna hit me. The temple, the jaw, knock my ass out. I mean, it's not gonna make a difference anyway, because like, here's my mindset toward these things. I have the hide of a rhino. And it's for this reason. 1, someone insults me and they're right. In which case, why would I be upset? They're right. 2, someone insults me and they're wrong. In which case, why would I be mad at them? They're wrong. So say whatever you want, sugar bunny. It's water off a duck. I'm a balloon on the ceiling with no fuck to give. I also like all these ironically triggered comments saying I don't understand what the ego is. Like, you do know that when you're pissy like that, it's your ego talking. You know that, right? Like, this is ego. And the point is not to kill this. Why would I kill this? It's fabulous. The point is not to kill this. The point is to accept this as it is and to play the role that I incarnated here to play. Like, why else did we come down here? You want to tell me that we came down here to be gods and not humans? I don't think so. I think you're missing the point of this experience, which was my whole beef with this thing in the first place. Interesting video, says Thought Art. A bit immature for my taste. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me read this in the tone of voice that it was written. A bit immature for my taste, and perhaps lacking in theoretical understanding. Good heavens, where's my martini? Also super cringe when people make a full video dedicated to shitting on others. See, that's how I know you made it 2 minutes in. Thought art. Like, if it wasn't the full video, does that make it less cringy? Nothing wrong with a healthy ego, but nothing wrong with spreading toxic things online. You and Leo both, lol. Sorry, me and Leo and thought art. You can group us all into one bucket. Oh, I responded to him. What did I say? Your mom's immature.
Pow.
Your mom's immature. Honestly, my instinct when people are condescending is always to be a troll, because when people really pride themselves on their intelligence, the easiest way to get under their skin is to intentionally be a dumbass. And I'm really good at getting under people's skin, even when I don't try to sometimes, like that first video that I did. But you know, I really did behave myself in the comments. I think I deserve a cookie. This was another theme, though, that I lack theoretical understanding, and I'm not sure it's the case. Like, look, I'm just an internet idiot. I don't know anything. Like, sometimes I sound smart, but I'm actually just dumb. So my pea-sized brain keeps circling back to this idea that trying to kill the ego is like trying to put out a fire with a bellows pump. Like, all you're doing is making it bigger, more inflated. Inflated like gas prices.
I am the one.
And I've said this often, that it's not like there's a right way to do life or spirituality. And someone, let me see if I can find this comment. Someone on here had the wonderful metaphor of enlightenment being like a many-faceted gem, where people experience one face of it, and they feel as though they have the whole answer. They have ego death, and they think they know everything. And I don't know if that's true or not, because I'm not enlightened, but it feels right, because if we look at people who have attained a higher state of consciousness, like, they're so diverse, right? Alan Watts and Leo Gura are night and day. Eckhart Tolle and Ram Dass, they're very different. Also, that feels like one of those quizzes from high school where they're like, choose the thing that doesn't belong. Carrot, zucchini, squash, cherry. Guess who's the fruit basket? Now, when I look at Mr. Gura, I see someone who is scary smart. Okay, he's brilliant. And a lot of what he says is bang on. It's accurate, and it's rooted in all the old school teachings about this stuff. But at the same time, he appears to be very detached, isolated. He seems to feel very alone, God bless him. And even though he talks about everything as being like interconnected and, you know, absolute love, I don't really see it in practice. When I look at that person, I don't see heart connection. I don't see an open fourth chakra. What I see is a numb island of solipsism because someone did too many drugs and spent too many years isolated alone on top of a mountain. Someone else said that I shouldn't be judging the top of the mountain when I'm at the bottom of it. And I was like, we're not even climbing the same mountain, though. Like, I'm not trying to go where that person is trying to go. And that was my entire point, that it's not for me personally. And are you sure it's for you? Just some things to think about, because this is a person who has said things like this leading up to his videos.
Warning. If you are mentally fragile, depressed, suicidal, or struggling with mental illness, do not listen to this episode. This episode may give you an existential crisis, depression, or suicidal thoughts. This episode may rob your life of meaning and purpose, cause mental instability, or lead to depersonalization.
Like, thanks for the disclaimer. That's responsible. But also, like, if that's where someone's messaging can take you, are you sure you want to follow them there? Are you sure that's your mountain? Oh, look, now I'm actually upset. It's funny because not a single thing in these comments actually made me angry. Like, I just mostly think this stuff is like fun and it gets me thinking. But the idea of vulnerable people who are searching for answers being swallowed up by some hideous philosophy really does make me angry. And when I say angry, I mean it breaks my fucking heart. It breaks my fucking heart because the human experience can be beyond beautiful. From my point of view, the answer is not to kill the ego, to detach and disassociate and self-isolate. It's to be in this paradoxical space of knowing what you truly are and still choosing to go fully into the experience of being alive, even though sometimes it hurts like a bitch. It breaks my heart to think that when these people die and they actually transcend and experience the other side, that they'll realize they missed the entire point, that life could have been good. But that is idea sex for another time. Thank you for tumbling down the rabbit hole. with me. We didn't really tumble down rabbit holes today, did we? Thank you for gossiping like hens with me today. Hail to the power in the sights. And until next time, I hope you stay very, very blessed. They're pink with chairs on them.